Keith, Bliss, to what Trish was saying and what was mentioned here, that might have been one of the reasons why stocks, advanced, that maybe they sense that they dodged a bullet here, or that the program that they want to see, the tax cuts they want to see, and all this isn't a political thing for them, but they like that stuff, and they don't want to see this sort of thing get in the way of it. Now, they're off their highs that they had a little earlier, but what do you make of that argument?
Well, I buy into it a little bit, but I don't think anybody in the marketplace, Neil, quite frankly, has James Comey having much credibility at the end of the day.
Is that right?
If you look at the shenanigans that he was the main character on all of last summer with the Hillary Clinton investigation and then forward, we never expected that there was going to be a big bombshell that was going to come out of the testimony, especially when his statement was released last night and we were able to parse through that. So that's why you were seeing the markets, they dipped down a little bit, but really they treaded sideways. Yeah,
there were no bombshells in it, were there, Keith?
No,
the kind of thing that would make you say, oh boy, this is a long summer.
I tell you the biggest bombshell in it for me, Neil, is that it was theater of the absurd, and people are worried about Donald Trump destroying our institutions that we have. When we see things like this and we're wasting taxpayer money for what is likely a committee meeting and testimony that will lead to nowhere, that's when people lose faith in our institutions. This is the absurdity of Washington where it's become, and quite frankly, the other reason the market bounced back, not only were there no bombshells out of his testimony, but we're accustomed to this. This is going to be an ongoing issue as long as Donald Trump is president. There are people that want to destroy him, and there's going to be an investigation every other month, and the market doesn't care. It just doesn't care.
All right, Phil Flynn, do you think that's the case? The market doesn't care? Because one of the things that guest was raising with the prior is that he thinks former FBI Director Mueller, in this role of playing a chief counsel to get to the bottom of this, is going to move quickly. Maybe in the next 3 months, have a report out that once and for all puts this to bed. That seemed like a very aggressive timetable to me, but what do you think of that?
If that's the case, then the markets are going to love it, because that's going to be a big sign that this long nightmare is going to be behind us. And the most disturbing thing I thought in the meeting was that long, awkward silence after Donald Trump asked for his loyalty. It sounded like a bad romance novel there for a bit.
It had like a Tony Soprano feel, didn't it? I mean, it would be a pity. It would be a pity, but I mean, whether that's impeachable is, in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, no, and that's the point, listen, I think the markets are more, we're getting a little bit of a rally, but we're disappointed that we even have to go through this. There's going to be more headlines and stuff. Listen, the president is very cloddish. He's probably not very tactful, but this is not obstruction of justice. If wiping your email server isn't obstruction of justice, then this isn't anywhere close to that. And I think at the end of the day, the markets want to get on with this. They want to focus on tax reform in the future as opposed to these political sideshows.
Trish, one of the things that Chris Christie had said is explaining the president's sort of blunt force behavior and conduct is that people react to what he considers to be normal New York City conversation.
It's quite possible. So in other words, the president thinks he's saying one thing, and James Comey is taking it a different way. But that's why I keep getting back to
business talk.
I need your loyalty.
And not knowing the mechanics and how it looks and all.
I get back to this, and that's that, I think that Donald Trump, to a certain extent, has some rope with people, right? People are, well, this is the way he talks. Did you really think he meant that? Because really what he thought is he meant that. He's got a little room. For whatever reason. It's just his personality type, and America has afforded him that room. But James Comey is the more serious type. He doesn't have the same kind of room. I really do think that this may be confirmed in everyone's eyes what they already suspected, and that's that James Comey has a credibility problem. I think the fact that he was writing this stuff up and giving it to his friend at Columbia Law School, who's then leaking it to the press, that causes me to be concerned.
Yeah, did so after he was fired. All right, thank you guys very, very much.